All right, well, good evening, everyone. My name is Corin Rumba. I'm the course director for FOP, and I want to take the time to officially welcome you to Fundamentals of Physics. Tonight's lecture is not going to delve into any actual physics information just yet. We'll have plenty of time for that in upcoming weeks and upcoming classes. But tonight we're really working with a starter's guide. We want to give you an idea of what you can expect this month, what type of assignments you'll expect to see, and what kind of course load you can expect. And then also a little bit of what we expect from you and how you will be graded and how you'll be assessed overall in this course. So first things first, we have a number of different instructors. We are a team of 5. FOP is a team of 5. You can see all the instructors on the screen here, and hopefully you recognize one of those names. We have most of our contact information on the screen, and all of our contact information can be found in the syllabus in FSO, and I'll show you exactly where that is in just a second. But you can see we're available on a number of different platforms depending on your preference. We have email, which is one of the most reliable ways to get a hold of us. We constantly have our email open and are constantly checking that. We also have our phone extensions here for when we are in the office. And then we also have our office if you are a campus student and want to stop by. We are located in building 4D on campus on the first floor. Missing on here is one of the important ways, which we should add, is the other alternative way to contact us, which is iChat. All of the iChat information can be found on the syllabus, but iChat's a really good way to get a hold of us if you just have a quick question and want a quick response. We're required to be on iChat all the hours that we're working, and if you sign on and you see your instructor there, then you can just ask them a quick question and they'll respond to you immediately. Really good way to get a hold of us as well. Important thing to note is that if your instructor doesn't happen to be available, all of these instructors are more than willing to help you with anything that you might have a question on. So if your instructor isn't available and you have an urgent question, you feel free to contact any of these instructors, and I'm sure they'd be more than happy to help you out. All right, so hopefully most of you have accessed the online class sometime today, but I want to show you just a little bit of where the important stuff is. And mine's going to look a little bit different than yours, but I don't have a way to show you exactly how yours looks. But it should look a little bit something like this. You'll have all your activities on the home page when you log into the class. The activities are broken down by week for the most part, other than the introductory material. The introductory material is all stuff that you should take a look at this week. The first thing, the Welcome to Fundamentals of Physics, I'm going to go into that assignment. And again, it's going to look a little bit different than yours since mine's in edit mode, but you'll be able to see. This has, most importantly, the downloads. There are 7 documents here that are going to provide you with a lot of information about the course. Here is one of the places you can find the syllabus, which will have all of our contact information. If it wants to load for me. You can see very first thing, all our contact information and our iChat information is listed here. And then you can read through the syllabus for any policy questions or anything like that. I'm going to go over most of that in the lecture today, but you always have that to download for reference. We have FSO support fact card. That's for any questions that you have, technical problems that you need to contact FSO support. GoToMeeting quick reference guide, which hopefully you won't run into any trouble with GoToMeeting, but if you do, then that will be your reference for that. A video about library resources for physics. We do have a project this month that may require some research, and this will show you how to use the Full Sail Library resources for that purpose. We also have the most frequently asked questions online document, and then the course at a glance, which I'll show you on the slides here in just a second. But I definitely recommend, this will be open all month, but it's a good idea this week to just go and download all of these different documents so you have them on your computer for reference. So a lot of important stuff in that Welcome to Fundamentals of Physics. Oh, and then we also have a couple of websites that have extra videos, like Khan Academy and one other school website that has alternative videos on different topics in physics if you would like more than we present to you in this class. Other intro activity, we do have professionalism. I see that 12 people have completed it in this section, but if you have not already, you have plenty of time, but definitely just recommend going in there and just clicking I have completed this activity. That will assure that you start with 100% in this class. And then we have the Go-To Syllabus Lecture quiz, which is the Go-To Syllabus Lecture is what you're in right now. And then the quiz is based on material from this lecture. So you'll complete that by next Monday. And then all the assignments are broken down by week. And in general, we have them numbered. Of course, this will vary a little bit per person, and you might break up the assignments a little bit. But in general, we have them listed in an order that we recommend. We have the discussion questions for week 1 and 2. Those are due earlier in the week. They're due on Thursdays instead of the following Mondays, like most assignments. So we recommend you start with those. And those are kind of independent from the chapter reading. They're based on online videos instead of the chapter reading in the Go-To lectures. So you can do those without doing the required reading first. Then we recommend doing the reading and watching the lectures and downloading the PDF information that we give you. And then tackling the assessment, the physics in action. I'll talk more about what those assignments are in a little bit here, but just know that this numbering system is not arbitrary. We do recommend that you kind of keep in this type of order throughout each week. All right. And then most of the reference material that you'll need you can download under the Welcome to Fundamentals of Physics assignment. But also note that there is this little I, which isn't incredibly visible, but if you hover over that I, it'll say about this course. And you can go click on that I, and in there, you'll again find some repeat documents, some of the important ones like the syllabus and the course at a glance and the FSO support fact card. And then we also have vocabulary from week to week. So this might be a good thing to look at to test yourself before maybe looking at the assessment, and just look at the vocabulary and see if you can define all these different things. If you understand all of these topics, then you understand the week completely. So each week we have the terms, themes, and concepts. So you can go in and just get an idea of everything that we'll be covering from week to week. All right. Just one more note. You guys obviously all know where to find the Go-To lectures to register for the Go-To lectures because you are here. But in case for anyone watching who isn't sure, you can go under the Chapter 1 Reading and Go-To lectures. Here you will find the registration page where you can register for the weekly lectures or online tutoring. We have 2 different types of Go-To sessions throughout the month. We do have chapter-specific lectures, which are planned hour-long lectures on each chapter that's indicated. Tomorrow from 3 to 4 p.m., I have a lecture on Chapter 1, Kinematics and Motion. And then on Wednesday, you could attend 2 lectures, Chapter 2 and 3. Those are planned lectures that have a full hour of information available for you. The instructor is going to give an actual lecture. But we also have open office hours for student questions in case you have a question on assignment or a specific topic. In these sessions, the instructor does not have a full hour of material planned. They're really just us waiting for you to come and ask questions. So come to those questions and come to those sessions prepared with questions on anything in the course at all. Or if you just want to chat about physics outside of the course, I'm sure we're more than happy to do that too. Here, we don't have it now, but here is where you will find the archived sessions of the go-to sessions. We know that not everyone can attend all of these different lectures. So maybe you're busy Tuesday from 3 to 4 p.m., but you still want to watch the Chapter 1 lecture. We will be recording all of those lectures and then uploading them as a download here. So you'll be able to access those sessions, to watch those sessions, even if you couldn't attend a live session here within 24 hours after that session is scheduled. And then just for reference, if you don't want to watch the lecture, if you're, it's a little easier to find with a PDF, we have all of the chapter PDFs, which kind of bullet point the important information, important vocabulary, and important equations. So you can go in here and download all that material for each chapter as well. And these are going to be really good references for specifically the assessments and the assignments and all that kind of stuff. All right. Let's go back to presentation, maybe. Okay. Hold on. I don't know why that thing is staring at me. Hold on. I'm having a little bit of trouble with the keynote. Sorry guys, just give me 1 second. Okay, back in business. All right, so the grade breakdown for this class we have here in this pie chart, but of course this information can be found on your syllabus as well. Please note that this giant chunk here, that's almost 50% of your overall grade in this class, comes from 4 assessments. We'll talk about more what those assessments entail in just a second, but that is almost half of your grade for this class. So the assessments are important to take your time on and start early in the week. We also have discussion boards. Those are worth 6%. We have 2 in the first 2 weeks, each weighted at 3% each for a total of 6%. The go-to syllabus lecture, which I just showed you based on this material that we're covering today, is worth 2%. And then we have the physics in action, which is 24% of your overall score. The video project and then professionalism, both at 10%. So that makes up the total 100% of your grade for this class. Here's a very important document I showed you under the Welcome to Fundamentals of Physics. We had the downloadable documents that you had in there, as well as under the About This course. You can download a document that's called Course at a Glance. And I think it's a really good thing to download or maybe even print out and put somewhere that's accessible to you so that you can plan your time management throughout the week accordingly. So this is a breakdown of the course. It shows you when all of the assignments that are weighted are available, and then also when they are due. This is week 1. We're studying kinematics and motion, and you can see that available to you now is discussion 1, physics in action 1, and assessment 1. And then tomorrow the go-to quiz will become available. The first assignment that's due is going to be the discussion, and then all of the remaining assignments from this week are based on are due on next Monday. So physics in action 1, assessment 1, and the go-to quiz. basically each week you're going to have an assessment. You see assessment 1, 2, 3, and 4. And also the physics in action assignments. You have physics in action 1, 2, 3, and 4. Every week you'll have those 2 assignments. In the first 2 weeks you'll have discussions, and then in the next 2 weeks we want you to focus on the video project. And I'll talk more about those assignments in just a second, but that's the overall breakdown of assignments in the class. Success tips for this course. Obviously, there's a lot of information to cover in just 4 weeks. So we pack quite a bit of information into just 1 week. So within that week, try to spread the work out. It's not something that you can do in one sitting. It's not something that you should do in one sitting. It's really hard to retain all of that information, packing 3 chapters, 2 to 3 chapters in a week, if you sit down and try to do it all at once. So for a couple of different reasons, try to spread the work out throughout the week, break it down into smaller chunks so that it becomes a lot more manageable. And with that, try to at least look over the assignments early in the week, as our instructors have limited availability on the weekends. We try to be available. We try to check our email and be on iChat whenever we can on weekends, but it's not always possible. We like our weekends as much as you do, so sometimes they kind of get away from us. So we do have assignments due on Monday so that you don't have everything due on Sunday. So if you're stuck, you don't have access to an instructor. You still have that Monday to ask your instructor any questions that you run into at the last minute. But it's a really good idea to look over those assignments early and contact your instructor on any of those platforms that we talked about previously, or attend one of those online open office hours for student questions. Each week you have optional weekly discussions. These are not graded, but they are recommended. One of the best ways to learn physics is to talk about it. So it's a really good idea to go in there and discuss assignments. Of course, we don't want you giving each other answers, but of course you can talk about different topics in physics, maybe something that you saw outside of this class that you want to share regarding science or anything like that. It's a very useful tool to have to utilize those weekly discussions. And your instructor will be watching those discussions through the week as well to be able to answer any questions or participate in any active discussions. And the most important thing is to contact your instructor if you have any questions. That is absolutely what we're here for. You saw that we are available on a number of different platforms throughout the week, and you don't want to get behind. It's a very fast class. It happens in 4 weeks, and it's over before you know it. So keep up with the material, and if you have any questions on anything, do not hesitate to ask your instructor. That's what we're here for. That is our job. That's what we want to do is help our students. So do not hesitate to ask questions. All right, breakdown of the assignments. The first one, we have physics in action. That's one of the ones that we have every week. And each week you will have an online virtual lab that simulates real-world physics. In week 1, you'll have one that deals with conservation of energy. You might have opened it and played with it a little bit already. And in this one, it's called Energy Skate Park. You're going to be looking at the change in total energy and kinetic energy and potential energy of a skater as he goes up and down a ramp. And you're going to have instructions on how to manipulate the skater, and then you're going to observe what happens and then answer questions based on those observations. And you can see they're kind of fun. They're kind of like online, they're kind of like physics video games. You can do more than our instructions tell you to do, which I recommend because it's fun. You can put your skater in space or on the moon or in Jupiter and then have them do a bunch of different stuff. But maybe after you finish the assignment, you can play with it a little bit more. But basically, these games or these labs simulate real-world physics, so we can watch these and then answer questions, and then it's like science in the real world. So they're really good, useful tools for understanding real world physics. In the second week, we'll be launching different objects to look at range and speeds of projectiles, including launch a Buick and all sorts of fun stuff like that. And then in week 3, you'll have circuit construction, where you'll actually be building circuits inside of the simulation, putting wires and light bulbs and batteries and resistors and all sorts of stuff together, and then looking at the different voltages and currents and all that kind of stuff. And then in week 4, when we talk about sound and light, we'll be looking at properties of different types of waves in our simulation. So a couple important things about these simulations. The first is that a couple of them are Java-based, and a couple of the recent updates to Mac have either deleted or not updated properly the Java applets, or the Java software. So you want to make sure that if you go in and you try to open the simulation and it doesn't work, you want to make sure that your Java is up to date and also there. So that's one of the first things that you check. If you absolutely cannot get it to work, we do have instructional videos that will be found under the assignment. In the very first question in the instructions, it will say to open the applet, or you can open the video where an instructor will guide you through the different steps and you can observe in the same way. But it's a lot more fun to do it on your own. So if you can open the sim and you then definitely do it that way instead. It's a lot more fun to play with it on your own. All right, the assessments. This is the 48% chunk of your overall grade in the class. These are multiple choice tests, 25 questions each, that are due every Monday. They're available for the full week, so you can work on them a little bit at a time, which is definitely recommended. And these are going to be based on weekly chapter reading assignments. So the way that I recommend doing these assessments is doing the chapter reading first. Read the material, watch the lectures, open the PDFs. Then tackle the assessments. Inside of the assessment, in the very first question, you'll see a download that has a link to our equation sheets. I would use the equation sheets and the PDFs as your references for the assessments, because once you understand the material, those two things really bullet point the important parts of the chapters. The equation sheets has the full list of algebraic equations that you'll use for a good majority of the questions on the assessments. And then the PDFs are available for you they have the equations and examples of how to solve those equations, and then also the definitions and the concepts that we'll ask you to understand as well. So those are really the references that we recommend that you use, and then if you need further information, to go back to the text. We have a blog page, fundamentals-of-physics.wordpress.com. And this is this has been a collaboration between instructors and students over the past year or two. And we have put together a lot of different things that we find interesting and relevant and thought-provoking in science. Most of the stuff isn't things that we cover in this class. It's more outside of the box, outside of the standard textbook things, like you can see in this, time travel doesn't work, but not for the reason you think. So this is talking about time travel and sci-fi and fantasy and how realistic it may or may not be. So if you feel like looking at a little bit of physics for fun outside of the class, this is definitely the place to go. Our students over the past 2 years have also been submitting blog posts, and you'll get the chance to do that as well in week 3. And you get a chance to write your own for extra credit. You're going to post a blog on anything that you find interesting in science. It doesn't have to be something that you saw in this class. It can be something that you learned about in a previous science class, or something you saw on TV, maybe on Mythbusters, or anything like that. You can post on any topic that you want. And then after all the extra credit posts have been submitted, the blog post voting will open up as another discussion, and all your classmates will vote on which post they feel is the best, is the one that they enjoyed the most, is the one that went into the to science in the most interesting way. And that post, as long as it is correct and appropriate, will be featured on the Fundamentals of Physics blog for all months to come for future students to see. And the extra credit comes from if you submit an extra credit blog post, you get 15 points on your lowest assessment score. Now remember, the assessments were 48% of your overall grade, so any extra help that you can get there can really boost your score. So 15 points for writing a blog post, 5 points if you end up winning the voting, and then you get 2 points just for voting. So you can add up to 22 points to your lowest assessment score up to 100%. The physics video project, which full instructions will be available for you in week 3, but we just want to give you an overview of what this project at the end of the month might look like so that you can keep it in the back of your mind as you're reading through material from week to week. This is a project, it's a video, which you will demonstrate a scientific concept and describe how it relates to your degree program or industry. It will be due the very last the last day of class, but the Monday following the last day of class, which is considered Sunday. And it will be the full instructions will be available for 2 weeks. So basically what you're going to be doing is you're going to be creating a 3 to 6 minute video, and you can choose any topic in science that you want, but you have to tell us, well, not only explain that scientific concept in an accurate way and also demonstrate it, but you have to tell us, how is this related to your degree program? We get the question all the time, why do I need to take physics? I'm a recording arts major, I'm a game design major, I'm in show production. Why do I need physics? And we know why we think that you should take physics, because we're biased and we think physics is super important and we think everyone should know physics. But we don't know your degree programs individually. We don't know about recording arts or game art or show production. So you guys know about that. You guys are interested in that. So we want you to do the research, and we turn that question around on you and say, well, why do you need to know physics? What is the consequence of you not knowing physics in your degree program or in the industry following your degree program? So we ask you to do a little bit of research and then present that research to us in a 3 to 6 minute video. We want to have an explanation, some sort of visual demonstration. It doesn't have to be a physical experiment. It can be some sort of animation or anything like that. And then a connection to your degree program. In general, remember the following standards: abide by full sales GPS policy, be professional, be safe. There are a lot of fun things in science that are not safe, but the demonstration can't put anyone in harm's way. If you want to use things that may be deemed unsafe, potentially like chemicals or fire or something like that, you'll just have to show us that you took the necessary safety precaution just in case something went wrong with that experiment. Obviously, make sure you do research to provide correct information, and then cite all information, images, video, or audio used. It says this in the instructions, but I definitely want to emphasize that you have to cite everything, even if it is your own production. If you created an audio track to go in the background of your video project and didn't cite it, then I'm just going to assume that you forgot to cite the audio. You have to tell me that you created it so that I know that you didn't take it from somewhere else without giving them credit for it. And it shows you the format that we want you to do these citations and the instructions as well. But you don't have to worry about that just yet. Just kind of keep in mind that this project is something that will be happening at the end of the month. And as you read through the material, maybe always try to connect it back to something in your degree program. All right, and the last portion of your grade is going to be professionalism. I don't expect to have any issues with this, but here are some general scoring guidelines. In general, everyone starts with 100% in professionalism, and then if any infractions occur, then you lose points throughout the month. The most common thing that people lose points for is the non-completion of the required professionalism reading. This is just what I was saying before about going into that professionalism activity in the first week and just hitting the button that says, I have completed this activity. If you do that, you start with 100%. If you forget to do that by Monday, then you start with 95%. So might as well do it and keep those 5 points for professionalism. Turning in past due assignments can also deduct on your professionalism score. We understand that sometimes life happens and sometimes things come up and you can't always get the assignment in on time. In that case, the most important thing is communication, letting your instructor know as early as you can why you will not be able to complete this assignment on time and when you will expect to be able to turn it in. Usually we're pretty accepting of things like that, but if it begins to be a habit from week to week, if we constantly are granting extensions or there's no excused reason to be missing these activities, then that can affect your professionalism score. And most importantly, and something I haven't had to deal with and hope never to, is unprofessional communication, which can cause the result in the biggest deduction of the professionalism score, -10 for each unprofessional communication event. This can be to your instructor or to your classmates in discussion boards or anything like that. So, like I said, I don't expect to have any trouble with that, but just remember that you want to maintain a professional environment throughout the course. FSO support is going to be a good reference to have. You have the FSO support fact card available for download underneath your references in the About This Course section in FSO. But basically, FSO support is going to be your contact point for any technical problems you run into with the platform. If you have uploading errors for any documents, if you're unable to connect to the server, those are instances where you would contact FSO support. You can contact them by email, which I would recommend for non-urgent issues. But if you have something that, your assignment's due in an hour and you can't get it to upload, I would definitely recommend calling. Calling is just, in general, just a faster way to get a response. And then once you call them, they send a ticket information to your instructor, and that shows that you, even if you were unable to turn in your assignment on time, that shows your instructor that you were, in fact, trying to before the deadline occurred, and then that would be an excused reason to extend an assignment. So FSO support, really good contact for any technical problems that you have. And in this first week, they're going to be your contact if you have trouble with the ebook. There is an ebook for this class. It's a physical science textbook. And you should receive an email with a code very early on this week, hopefully already, but early on this week if not. If you haven't received it, I'd say at least by Wednesday. I would definitely recommend contacting FSO support and telling them that you need them to resend the email. We unfortunately do not have anything with to do with the ebook distribution, so we will not be able to assist you with that. So FSO support will be the way to go. If you have received the book code and you're having trouble downloading it, if you're getting errors or anything like that, they will also be your contact for that case as well. All right, and on the syllabus lecture go-to quiz that is due on Monday, the last question will be, what is the secret code word? And that won't make a whole lot of sense if you didn't watch this lecture, but the answer will be banana. So that'll be 20 points on your go-to quiz just for knowing that the secret code word is banana. All right. Well, that is all I have. Remember to take the go-to quiz due on Monday. Does anyone have any questions on anything? All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. Why banana? I don't know. Why not? um, Good question. Uh, where will the archive be located? We're going to put it in a couple different places. You can find it under the week 1 go-to lectures, and then also underneath the actual go-to quiz. I'm going to have it as a video at the very beginning, so you can watch it underneath that activity as well. But under the go-to lectures will be the downloadable version. All right, guys, I'm going to stop the recording, but I'll hang out for a couple minutes if anyone has any questions or comments on anything. But thank you guys so much for attending. Welcome to Fundamentals of Physics, and I look forward to working with you all this month.